if we could, we would do, we would send you all energy to help you to get this particular characteristic under control, because it's one that's quite common with every one of you. In fact, once you get into practice, when you go back, you'll notice what I mean. If you are keen, you will notice exactly what I'm talking about. And if we could send you energy, we would do it, but we can't.
You know why? Because it's your job to develop it yourself.
Right.
It's the strength that you must develop. If we do it for you, it not only puts us in a position where we are more separate from our elders for the time that we are doing it for you, it is doing half of your work for you. That is your responsibility to grow to do. When Dee was saying earlier about the ways, a lot of the ways that you already know, but you still need to awaken to, there are a lot of ways that we are teaching you now that you do not know. And they're like more ways of labs or ways of responsible positions. In other words, just because you have been in the next level, you don't know a lot of the strict adherence, the value of adherence to procedures and to instructions, and to not let your mind enter in or to stray. Those things you have not learned adequately, but this task can help you learn them, so that when you return to the next level, you will be ready for to participate in more responsible tasks. But these ways we were talking to you earlier about kindness and consideration and self-control, and those ways you have learned, but you are having to reawaken to realize how much you've learned, so that your control is on those ways is more instant. Now, we know that you've learned them. You sometimes still don't even know that you've learned them, because if you could keep it consciously in your mind that you've learned them, you would look at them in a more mature light. You would say, goodness, I can't let that slip in. I can't perform in that way, and it's too childish of me because I have learned that before. Do you see the difference between the kinds of ways of the next level that you do know, but that you have forgotten, and you are reawakening to, and that you are now responsible for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and then ways of the next level that you do not know, that you're learning in the process of this particular task and in association with two older members of a different age, so that you will be equipped to work with crews of a little bit more responsibility than you would have previously been equipped to. None of you know, without exception, the value of procedures and instructions, and the value of not having thoughts outside of procedures and instructions. And you don't know that older members, that is their whole security, is not permitting themselves thoughts and enlargements upon procedures or instructions, or improvements on procedures or instructions, or even questioning procedures or instructions. The thing that keeps them on the track is because they don't want to do anything that has not come down as a procedure and an instruction. And this, we hope, by the time you leave again, that you have pounded it into your head enough that you can work with some who know the value.
There's one more thing that I'd like to add, and maybe I can't zero in on a word that it would suit, but that is theme. That would sum it up. but I think it would be more like being sensitive toward each other. Sensitive meaning be aware of what you're saying, so that if you're saying something that could hurt somebody, then change the way you're saying it. What is it?
Even yes.
Empathy. That's the word. In other words.
No, go ahead.
In other words, if I know that I would ever say something to Doe or to any of you, I feel you're hurt. I feel it. And like with this instance a minute ago, I felt a hurt. Whether he felt it as strongly as I did, I don't know. But it isn't embarrassment. It's a hurt. Now, you want to be so sensitive, develop a feeler so sensitive that you can look at somebody's expression on their face and tell whether or not you have said something that's hurt them. Now, it doesn't mean that you're looking for something to be hurt about. You know, that's not what I'm talking about.
And you can't take the attitude of, well, I didn't say anything wrong. If they wanted to take it wrong, then that's their problem. That is not the way to do it. What you're trying to do with each individual that you're working with is not tread on any of the weak areas that they have to deal with. You don't want to compound their problem. You want to ease their problem. And therefore, you can't just go plowing through and say things without thought just because you don't feel any hostility toward them. And just because you don't feel it and they get hurt, who's to blame? You cannot say, I'm sorry, or I'm saying, you cannot say to them, I wasn't sending you that, therefore you have no right to be hurt. Because what the sensitivity that T is talking about knows that before you say it, that kind of thing by that individual who has to deal with what they have to deal with could be opening the door for them to be hurt. So you want to try to learn how not to be used to hurt others.
I might be just saying too much if I am something, okay?
Stop. I know.
We found out the other day that somebody or someone told if I understand it correctly, that they resent their coming back into our group.
This happened a long time ago.
A long time ago, and that they had been out doing their thing, and here you all had been working so hard. And I'll tell you all right now, and I'm glad it's sometimes, that those who went out had it much harder than you all ever had. And they were put to the test that it's true they didn't learn some of the things that you learned, but they were put through tests and they stuck it out. Now that is something in their favor right there. And if anybody would even have a thought like that, I just can't even understand a thought like that towards them. I thought we were all happy to have them. That's the impression that we had. They're our classmates, and they
like
were on different.
They'd been sent on a special lesson.
That's right. And why should anybody resent somebody? You should be proud. You should welcome them with open arms, which I thought that we had. But I can't believe that the majority of the individuals of the class don't believe it. And either that or you're all watching it up.
And we do know that Sam Odie and Steele Odie and Drew Odie probably also had their bookers probably made them deal with a resentment
Look at it from their point of view.
why was I separated from the class? That it was hard for them to keep that separation as a positive. It was hard for them to see it as this is what I need. And when it's right for me to be back with the class, or right for me to be taken, I will be taken if I'm doing my best. And it was hard to keep that. And we know that they still have to pound away and not letting thoughts of that nature come in to try to deplete them or deflate them.
But you using Steele Odie and Sam Odie and Drew Odie as an example, when you all are helping them with procedures and they are in the process of learning how to follow instructions, then you all ought to be very sensitive toward their feelings and not make them feel like they're being picked on or you're riding them. In other words, if they break a procedure, and this includes anybody, if you break a procedure, we are to assume that they don't know the procedure or they wouldn't be breaking it. This applies to anybody in the class, not just those three individuals. And therefore, you would, with extreme amount of kindness and a lot of words to make it appear to be kind, explain it to them. And this is why we chose only a few individuals to talk to anybody who breaks procedures, so that because we felt like those individuals could show amount of kindness with the way they express it. Now, the human response to that, you can take it and be like an authoritarian figure and reprimand, but that is not what we want to do. So therefore, you have to tread on very thin ice when you begin to correct somebody with your speech. You have to feel it inside. I really hate to do this, and you've got to feel it. But if you like to correct people, you get a joy out of seeing their faces fall, then it is going to come across as something that is not good, and it will cause an adverse reaction to the person who's receiving the update on the correction.
I want to add the other side of that same coin, of that those people who are getting help with procedures and instruction, they have got to decide and realize that classroom is a place for learning procedures and instructions, and not resent ever getting correction and procedures and instruction. But in other words, if I know that I'm in a classroom where I'm learning procedures and instructions and ways, then am I not there to learn them? Therefore, who's losing if I make people feel like I don't want to hear correction of procedures? Who's losing? I'm losing, because I would be the one not learning those procedures. So it boomerangs both ways. When the one giving procedure, his booger and his humanness can come in to lord it over them. The one who's receiving the procedure, his booger and his humanness can come in and say, look, I'm being picked on, and I don't need you to point out all that to me. Because his attitude also has to be, I'm really thankful that you pointed that out, because I certainly wouldn't have broken the procedure had I understood it or known what it was. And this doesn't go just from Sam Odie to Steele Odie, but for all of you, when you are in the position of breaking procedures, I'm afraid they aren't the only ones breaking procedures.
Well, the little book that we wrote many months ago, it said in it, I wish we had a copy of it because I can't remember how it ended, but I'd like to know, said in there that you have to know who you are. And if we have to sit here and wait for you all to find out who you are, and at the rate you're going, you better hurry up and put some more effort in that direction, because I'm getting tired of waiting. But I'm not talking about me. I'm thinking about, I'm talking about getting your mind into it.
So that you keep that consciousness of who you are.
100% of the time. We know how difficult it is to try to walk down two roads at the same time.
And how difficult it is to keep that consciousness.
And you've got to really push. Now, how do you do it? How do you try to remember a dream? Do you program your vehicle? Do you say, I want to remember what I dreamed before you go down at night, or before you fall off to sleep? Well, then why don't you tell yourself, I want to be totally in my vehicle. I want to remember exactly what it's like to be a total member.
And to maintain it.
And to maintain it. Go talk to your vehicle. Don't waste one moment without programming your vehicle. The only time you can't be talking to your vehicle is when you're out of class and you have to keep your mind on the computers or whatever it is that you have to do. You certainly can't. Before you know it, you'll be typing into the computers, won't you? All that you're talking about. And so therefore you have to do it when you're not at your desk. But any moment that you're sitting down where you have a moment like they give you a coffee break and have a coffee to drink, you can sit down there and talk to your vehicle. Take every moment that you have, every spare moment, I put it that way, to program your vehicle. And
not only this pre-programming that he's talking about in the dream example is an excellent one, because he was saying, how do you get more mind in your vehicle? Programming is one way, but also let's say that you have programmed yourself to remember your dream, and you remember it for a little while, but then you forget it. Remember the effort it takes to recall that dream? It takes a lot of effort to recall that dream, even when you have programmed remembering it. So if you do your homework on programming, and you do your homework on the effort that it takes to recall that dream, and apply that amount of effort to recalling who you are, remembering who you are, and maintaining the conduct that goes with it, those two things combined would find you a lot more adult.
Telling yourself all the time that you are a member of the nation and you must act as one. And it's programming. It's definitely programming. It's mind control, but it's your controlling your own mind. And it's something that would help you. It certainly won't do you any harm. The more you all get your mind in, the more information we can get. It's coming pretty fast now, so maybe you all are looking not real hard.